My name is Nikki Traylor Knowles. I am an assistant professor in marine biology and ecology at the University of Miami Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences. And I'm also the founder and director of Black Women in Ecology, Evolution, and Marine Science. I've known that I wanted to be a marine biologist since I was 9 years old because I just really liked science and I enjoyed being at the beach. I think having the experience of actually seeing a beach and seeing tide pools and being able to physically interact with them was really life-changing for me. So yeah, but I was more interested in sharks. Like I think most marine biologists, they start out interested in sharks or dolphins. So I was interested in sharks, but later in graduate school, or well, actually in undergrad, I started working on corals and then shifted into, where I'm at now. So yeah, so since I was 9. Experience is definitely, I mean, if you don't know something, like you can't know to be it, right? So you have to have some exposure to it. So I think that definitely influenced me. I also, I think that later down the line, because I think a lot of people have interest in science, and then through all the trauma and things that happen throughout their progression, they tend to drop out and go into different careers. And I think the reason I've stayed is, one, I've been incredibly privileged. Like, just I haven't had, I think, the level of bad things happen to me that have happened to other people. But also I'm very stubborn. And because I've known since I was 9 that I want to do this, my attitude has always been, fuck you, I'm doing this. Like, excuse my language, but that's how it's been. So, so I tend to, when faced with adversity, not give up. It actually motivates me more.
Right.
And so that's been, I think, a driving force for me for a long time, beyond just sort of exposure and love of marine science. And I think, I'm trying to think of other like influences. I also have a cousin that he is actually a scientist. And so when I was little, he would talk about this to me a lot and stuff. And whenever we'd have like family reunions, he would always, I don't know, he'd do like demo dissections and stuff on fish and I mean, like
Cool.
stuff that's
That's
like,
cool.
so I was like into it. So yeah, so I think, some of it is just like chance of people that are in your life and the opportunities that you have. And then I think for me personally, it's just a lot of persistence and stubbornness. And now I stick with it because I want to change the system, right? It like changes over time.
Right.
So you reach a point where you're like, this system's really messed up. And just because I survived it doesn't mean that other people can or should. Like, that doesn't make this okay.
Right.
So, so I think, now for me, a driving force is like causing change and promoting people, and in particular Black women, to be in sciences and to support them. So, to push science forward, we have to have diverse perspectives, and diverse perspectives come from diverse backgrounds, right? And diverse experiences. And it's not just race or gender or, it's so many things, right? But definitely race and gender are two of the biggest ones that have been neglected within academia. So I think that it's a diversity of opinions, of approaches. I'm a big fan of like thinking outside the box, novelty, looking at things differently. And I think that's because of my background, right? My background wasn't necessarily like a traditional white man. So my perspective is going to be different. And I think that helps move science forward, right? In terms of like, and this is sort of tangential, I guess, to your question, but I think the biggest problem that we're facing right now is that academic systems in science were, one, built on the backs of people of color, indigenous people, women, right? Like literally. And so it was built for white supremacy, right? That's what these institutions were made for. And now as we're shifting and calling it out and seeing it and whatever, and now that mainly white people are actually acknowledging it, because we've been all calling it out forever, but that doesn't mean anybody's been acknowledging it. You know, it's sort of at this point of like, where do we go? How do we change this system? Can we change it? Because it's like, can we actually change the system from the inside, or do we need to just develop a whole completely new system? We have discussions in BWEEMS, in the Black women group, about this a lot, because it's very hard when you're within a system to change it because of just so many of the issues that you're constantly dealing with. But yet, if you create your own system, you're still reliant on aspects of white supremacy because it permeates everywhere. So, you know, so I don't have an answer for that, but it is something that like we're thinking a lot about, because it's like we can't go on the way we're going right now. Don't give up. As cheesy as that sounds, like, do not give up. Don't listen to only listen to people that you trust, because a lot of people are going to tell you advice that is not good advice. They might think it is, but really it's not. So be selective about who you listen to, and choose your fights, because you can't fight it all. And also look out for yourself. I mean, I know this sounds, I feel weird saying that, but the thing is that you got to realize that everybody else is looking out for themselves and are looking to take from you. So set boundaries and protect yourself. And, you know, I think the other thing too is that if you have an idea, do it. It's worth it, and it's probably an amazing idea. So, you know, a lot of times women, and in particular people, women of color, you know, kind of get talked out of their ideas, as being convinced that it's not worth doing, or it's impossible, or whatever, when it's like, it's not. People are just jealous or not to the level that you're thinking. You know, you're thinking outside the box, and that's what we need. So yeah, but it's like, just don't, this is your dream, don't let anybody steal it.